engine, it's really not even an engine, it's exhaust, right? Okay, so this is part 2 of 401k, HSA, and then real estate. I did part 1 on my way to the gym. This is going to be part 2. So a recap of part 1 was purchasing a home and how much you'll pay in interest. And then I talked about you'd pay, if it was a 400k house, and you pay like you're supposed to, you'll pay $750,000 in interest over 30 years. If you do a down payment of 20%, which is $80,000, the difference of interest is the down payment. So instead of $350,000 for a grand total of $750K, you'll be paying in the neighborhood of $270,000. Most likely more, because most people default on their payments, or not, is the default the right word? Miss payments, get payment fees, and end up having to refinance or extend your loan. Not a lot of people refinance into better positions, and a lot of people, instead of, there's a saying, instead of your money sitting in your house, why not sit in your stomach, right? As in, a lot of people will take it from their home to figure out issues they're having in their life. So the difference between doing a down payment is literally down payment. So instead of paying $350,000, you'll be paying in the neighborhood of $270,000 in interest. So instead of $750K, you'd be paying about $670,000 over 30 years. And then if you were to have the down payment, not have to use the down payment and pay a lump sum of $80K in the beginning, as in like the first, second month, even the first year, whenever you can get that $80K in there as a raw principal payment, you'll be in the neighborhood of doubling that money. So instead of $80K, that money be worth $160,000 in the neighborhoods of 160. If not 160, I'd say 140. Whatever. It's gonna be more. It's gonna be worth more than 80 in the beginning. Your $1 in the beginning of a 30-year loan is really worth $2, $3, maybe even $4. Right? I talked about how the home I purchased for $335 was originally designed for $80,000. The history, at least as far back as I could go, which was the last owner owned it for like since 1980. It's 2025, right? I bought it when I was 22, so about 5 years ago now. So do the math in that, and they bought it for $80,000, and $80,000 to $335, 80, 160, 240, 360, right? Multiply 4 times. Okay, so. And then if you were able to do, no need for a down payment, get some kind of loan package that will allow you to not have to, and you were to pay the $80K, instead of paying $350, instead of paying $270, you'd be in the ballpark of paying, probably, when I did the math, you would be in the ballpark of paying $127,000 in tax, in not taxes, but sorry guys, in interest. So instead of 750, 670, it showed you'd be paying about $550,000 for your home. And that is after you pay that lump sum. You don't have to do anything else. Just pay like you normally pay, right? And just think about a mortgage loan for a regular normal family as a vacuum, right? This is a 30-year time capsule where you're gonna be in here for the next 30 years. 30-year time capsule. Your dollar today is worth $3, $4 tomorrow. It's a 30-year time capsule. If you really want to travel in the future, get a loan and pay on it and pay ahead, and you'll be ahead of there. Never mind if you pay it off in the first 2 years and then now you're feeling like, now you just put in 400 or 500K. No, don't think like that. Think this 400K of raw cash is going to turn into $1.2 million in the future. Because 80 to 400, to 335, 400K to 4, 8, 12, that's just 3 times, 1.2 million. So in the next 30 years, the home I'm sitting in should definitely be above $1 million. All right, so that was a recap for that last conversation. And now we're going to go into the 401k. The way we're going to go into the 401k is by starting at the back end of the real estate. All right, where do you get $80,000 of raw cash to even consider buying a home? A good place to do it is a 401k. 401k, you can borrow up to $50,000, or and or whichever one is not greater than 50K. Did I say that right? So if you have, so you can borrow up to 50K. If you have 40K in your yeah, there's a math equation for it. Because you know, and or but, these are actual mathematical representations in language. So you can borrow an amount not to exceed $50,000, and or right, half. Oh wait, you would say you can borrow half of your 401k retirement contribution, and or right, not to exceed $50,000. So if you have 20K, you can borrow up to 10K. If you have 30K, you can borrow 15. If you have 40K, you can borrow up to 20. If you have 100,000, right? I mean 75. Let's go 75. If you have 75, you can borrow 35,000. If you have 100,000, you can borrow 50K. If you have 250K, you cannot borrow 125. If you have 500K, you cannot borrow 250,000. If you have 1 million, you cannot borrow 500,000, unless under special stipulations. And from my understanding, there are basically two major types of loans. There's an emergency loan, right, for like a funeral or something like that. And then there's a regular one where you can borrow your money and you have up to 5 years to pay it back. And I forget how the other one works, right? The emergency one, I forget how that works. The way, for sure, emergency or some kind of like home situation loan, right? For sure, that one works more so like you can borrow money. I forget the amount again. I forget the amount. I'll check up on it again because I'm going to talk to them. And you can borrow a XYZ amount. However, you have to provide proof of death or foreclosure or something of that nature, right? So that's how that works. This guy behind me thinks he's NASCAR. Is this the new Mustang? All these cars are the same cars, except they put new lights on them and they design them to look cool. It's the same cars. Let's see if my coffee's still warm. Let's see. Nope, it is not still warm. But it's not cold, so it's not warm at all, but it's not like ice cold. My favorite coffee drink is like a mocha frappe, you know, like a iced coffee. Not iced coffee per se. I'll destroy iced coffee, you know, just like coffee with ice cubes. I'll destroy it, for sure. I won't leave any witnesses. However, I love a mocha frappe, like a frappe with the whipped cream. 550 calories. And that is on the McDonald's nice side, right? Anyways, moving on. So where do you get this lump sum of money, right? I just gave you all the, you know, basic 401k contribution for how much you can borrow. So 80K, 50,000 is not $80,000. And when you buy a home, right, arguably, right, and this is what I've told people, I still tell you, you need to more so focus on paying your loan than your 401k. That is if you're aggressively paying it off. If you're just doing the bare minimum, then that's another conversation. But you're only allowed to pay $22,500, and you know, you get tax benefits for contributing to 401k. We're gonna talk about all of that right now. Of should you pay off your home or should you contribute? Because $22,500 is not a little money. So $50,000, right? Even if you have 100K and you were to sacrifice and build up to 100K, you can only take 50K out, unless under special stipulations, which I'll look into more today. Maybe today. We'll see how today goes with work and my exhaustion, because I've got other people to call too. So you can only take out 50K, but again, a dollar in the beginning of your 30-year vacuum of a mortgage is worth $2 minimum, $3-4, right? It's worth it. It's worth it. So 50K is $100,000. So you buy your home 3-4 days later, after you've asked your 401k for money and you put into your home, you're gonna beat the market. I'm sorry, your 401k is not gonna take $50,000 and turn it into 100k in a week, which you can do by taking it from your 401k and putting it into your mortgage. And all your 401k wants you to do is to be paying on it, pay additional, and the basic requirement is just pay back the 50k in 5 years, if you can. If you don't pay it back in 5 years, it's not like you're gonna get fined or anything. They're just, you know, that's what they say, right? They just say pay it back in 5 years. The other one, the, you know, funeral, whatever, you know, that's different.